Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending, and I see a lot of familiar faces, so thank you very much for being here and dedicating some time. For TAWAL, we feel like home. We are an infrastructure company, and we are in between infrastructure gurus around us. We are in the best time where the country is filled with a lot of mega and giga projects. So in TAWAL, since the inception in 2019, as an infrastructure company, before we become an ICT, we have been involved with a lot of mega projects and a lot of the infrastructure and construction companies. Since we started, we've been looking after the ambition of the country, and we cannot ignore the statement that is guiding us, which is around the smart cities and how the infrastructure should enable smart cities of the future. It's all about the welfare of the people. It's all about how the people are utilizing the cities. We can see His Royal Highness statement that the cities were made for cars and factories instead of people. And this is what we are trying to change with all of the mega projects that we are now developing in the country. So we are happy to be part of that as an ICT infrastructure partner, since the inception of those ideas until the idealization and the implementation of those smart cities. If you look at our brown projects, let's say Riyadh or the existing cities, and we look about our future ambition, like in NEOM, where we are building a city from the scratch. The whole existing infrastructure is not good enough for NEOM future that we're looking after. So what is the difference? What are the challenges that the infrastructure companies are looking after for projects like that scale? What are we thinking about? Is it just being connected? Is it after that being smart, or being even cognitive, where taking the decision by itself? The changes that are driven by the technology, and we've seen that question about technologies, is all about the citizen welfare and the functions around the city that is leading towards the citizens' welfare. And of course, the economic growth. How are we going to pay for all of those projects and for the inhabitants of those projects? Now, the technology is supposed to be the nervous system of those cities and for the decision-making of those cities. Now, if you look at all the platforms, you see all of them depending on technology. And we have to think about ICT infrastructure in the roadmap and in the idealization of the city, whether it's in the utilities, whether it's in the safety and security, whether it's in the services, whether it's in the mobility side. All of that share the same infrastructure, not just the technology. It's more of that. It's more basic than that. It is the infrastructure around this technology. Now, if you think about the ICT infrastructure, as we said, it is the unifying element. It is not just the technology on top of that. It is the ICT infrastructure that will unify even technologies, whether the technology is provided by a mobile operator or by a solution provider or even by a technology owner. If you think about all of those technologies, those will be provided by different sources, whether it's different operators or different solutions or different even technology companies that are not existent yet. So all of those will share ICT infrastructure. So I would like to call that another evolution in the ICT infrastructure, although it has been there for a while. But we think about it, how we think about cloud and what cloud made to data centers. If you think about what cloud made to data centers, where everything is shared on a single unified data center that is called cloud and that is serving everybody, think about the smart use cases and what it actually comprises of. So there's the hardware level and the connectivity level and of course the application level. Everybody's familiar with a cloud or data center where it in fact unifies the application side. But what about the hardware? What about the connectivity? It's all about the ICT infrastructure. Now, if you think about ICT infrastructure as the unifying arm, just like the cloud, then what about sharing the ICT infrastructure between all providers, whether it's a service provider, whether it's a technology owner, whether it's a government entity, and then even sharing the end devices. whether it's, let's go back if that's okay, whether it's a sensor, whether it's a camera that is feeding a government entity for security, or even a smart analytics for a technology provider. All of those can be provided as a shared concept. If you think about successful examples, and we're looking not just for successful example of even more adoption in the mega projects that we're looking after. If you look at successful examples around the world where ICT infrastructure companies have provided some additional added value to the cities and the applications around the cities. You can see where Paris is utilizing ICT infrastructure for some of their advanced smart applications. You can see also examples in Spain where the city is implanted over a brain that is collecting all of the sensor readings around the city into a decision-making process. If you think about India, where a lot of additional added value services are utilizing the infrastructure, whether it's a telecom a tower, whether it's the infrastructure of smart poles, or other than that, it utilizes all of that as a shared infrastructure. Now, we in TAWAL are also very happy and very honored to partner with a lot of the mega and giga projects of the country in order for us to achieve the mutual goal of 2030. The infrastructure that we are providing, although it started from a brownfield, it actually evolves into developing and supporting the goals of the future, whether it's as futuristic as not even existent yet, where the infrastructure is the greenfield of innovation. We are partnering with a lot of the research centers to provide that capability. We're also working on the brownfield to make the existing city smart by adding a lot of the additional value, whether it's to support autonomous driving, for example, that requires ICT infrastructure to be thought about in the first place. Whether it's to support connected devices, whether it's to support smart applications from as basic as mobile connectivity to as advanced as drone monitoring, for example. All of that can be adopted and worked on with the digital technology arm of the ICT infrastructure. So we're very happy, we're lucky enough that we have existed since 2019 in this wonderful time. And we are working with all of the mega projects in the inception period to be part of the roadmap, to be part of the initial plan, so we exist with the right infrastructure requirements, whether it's an edge computing or as simple as connectivity to a data center. So that being said, the infrastructure cannot be completed without the ICT infrastructure part being part of it. And this is why all of the infrastructure requirements of today have embedded those connectivity and those ICT requirements in today's plan to be shared by definition with all providers. So all providers can utilize better resources with the most efficiency available to all companies to provide the infrastructure of the future. I would like to thank you all. We feel home here with the infrastructure companies. As an ICT infrastructure, this is where we belong, more than even providing the additional connectivity services. So thanks again for your time and for your listening.